is our Logic Wintrak. When you're coming in, you put your employee number in here, which my number is 1131. If you're already in the system, you can click here and drag down. You can see we have a couple in here. As the numbers get in there, they'll keep them, and they'll go in there longer. You'll have a big list to choose from. So once you get your employee number in there, if you do not know what job you're working on, the best thing to do is to go into job 0, and then that's a non-chargeable thing, and then log into payroll. So 0, log into payroll. This is only if you have no idea what job number you're working on. Then you hit send, and what that does is it gets you onto the system that you're getting paid. Okay. If you know the job number you're working on, this is where you're into the labor button here, and then you click here, and then you find what job you're working on. If you can click here and it'll scroll down, you'll have some jobs here to choose from. If that job's not on there, just put a job that you're working on. So the job number I'll put in there is 140085, and then you hit enter. What that does is that's going to bring up the job you're working on and the customer. Now it's going to ask you for a form. So you click on your form here. This one is pretty simple. It's got one form here. If you're on the Stitcher or mailer, you might be using the 990 finishing form. That's to bring all the forms together at once. Most of the time on the folders or cutters, you're going to be using the forms that are listed. Once you get your form listed, then you're going to ask you for an LCC number, what you're working on. Again, the LCC numbers are the machine that you're working on. Like this particular machine will be the 750 stall folder. That's just telling me what folder I'm running. If you get in here and if you don't know what you're doing, you can hit lookup down here, and then it'll hit search, and this will bring up all your machines that's available. And you can scroll down here. Now you can see we're getting to these numbers where like the 710 cutter, 714 cutter, you have your 720, which is your scoring machine, your 740 folder, your 750 folder, 755 folder, 760 folder, and 770 folder. Those are your 5 folders that you can choose from. You can get down in here where there's where you're hand wrapping, wrapping machine, if you're just gluing, gathering. All these are down here to choose from. So if you need to ever search for one, it's right down in here. Just choose what you want to be working on and then hit in there. Down here is your inkjet machines. Again, it's all your pitney bows, your inserters, and then you get into down here are your helper numbers. Most of the time, if you're logging in as just a helper helping somebody on a machine, say I was a helper on this particular job, it would be 750 folder helper. I could click on that, or the 760, 770, or the Stitcher helper. You can click on any of those. So if you wanted to change the one I was on, you could click on that and hit OK, and see how that changed from folder operator to folder helper. Since I was running it, I'll put it back in here where I was running the folder. It's going to ask for this job task ID number. It's none. You don't have to worry about it, and then everything else. And then all you have to do there is hit send, and you're good. When you go to lunch, not on break, but when you go to lunch, if you need to, when you log out for lunch, all you have to do is hit this tab over here, hit lunch break, and then it's going to say what time you clocked out, and then you hit send, and you hit OK, and it's going to just go. When you come back from lunch, come back into your labor, it's going to have exactly what the last thing you worked on. You hit send, and now you're back from lunch. Okay. At the end of the day, when you log out, is your logout button. What I like to do first before I log out is do a job status. This is the job I'm working on, and here's your status codes, what it's going to ask you for. So these here are, again, all the different statuses that I've logged into working. You have like your done to shipping, or just done on the folder going to a different operation. You have like a partial if you've only cut partial of it, or thing. So if you can't find what you're looking for, again, you can use the lookup button, and again hit search, and then again it's going to come down here, and it's going to give you all your status codes down here again. So whatever you're looking for, it's in the system down here. Most of the time you'll be in the 7s or 8s because that's the binary numbers. But again, if you're on a press room thing, if you need to look at, it's also up here. It says what they were done on the press or whatever. But these are all your status codes that show what's done. If you have a partial, if you're sending something to buy out, if you're if you're done to shipping, if you're partial done, or if you're just done on the folder. So particular on that one, I'm just going to enter a partial on the 750. And then what it's going to do is it's going to ask you for a quantity. So at the end of the day, how many you ran. Say on this job you ran 19,000. And then if you want to, you can add a note. You can put on there if you had blank sheets. Just to give them an idea that maybe that's what took you longer to do the job or whatever. This notes tab's always good to use. Once you have your information put in here, your status, how many your quantity, and then any notes you want to add. If you don't have to add any notes if you don't want to, you can just put in something if you do. And then also again, it's back up, hit the job status button. Then you go into where you go into a log out. At the end of your day, you log out. What it's going to do is ask you that you're logging out, what time you're logging out. You hit send, and then you hit, are you logging out for the day? It's going to ask you again, make sure that's what you want to do. You hit yes. And then it's going to ask you if you want to preview your time card. I always like to preview. It brings it up exactly what you worked on. Today you can tell exactly what I did when I first got here at 6:57. I logged in the payroll, and then I started the application here, went down here again, logged in the payroll, and then we ran back on the folder thing. Now it's at the end of the day, and then you can see down here in your job status that it shows that you were on there, and you had some blank sheets you had to look for, and then what your quantity was. Make sure everything's on there. These are your total hours you were here, and these are the chargeable hours that you were actually working on the machine. Once you've previewed that, it's all good.